All right, quiet on the set.
All right, gotcha.
This weekend SEC football promo. Take two. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your guy, Mr. Fingaz, coming to you live from Zagniff Central.
Hey, and I'm Collin P., a brother from another. What it is, Showbiz?
I will tell you what it is, Showbiz. You guys, welcome to this week's edition of This Week in SEC Football. But before we get started, do us a little favor. If you're watching us on the YouTube, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you have not done so already. We appreciate you much. And if you want to be a contributor to the show, a little something to help the cause, right down there in the bottom, in the lower third, in the crawl, rolling across your screen is the address for our Patreon page. We got some great perks for those of you that are contributors and regular viewers of the show, because we appreciate you so very, very much. So, Collin, my man, I think it's time to get this show started. What you say?
My man, let's lay the hammer down.
Oh, you know we gonna do something before two something. Club Shay coming right at you right after this. Oh, hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls.
What Bama does, what Bama do. They were giving Alabama like Alabama was this. If Alabama didn't lose their two stars,
not show up that day,
Dude,
or was it
you watch the same
it's offense more like I know this is more of a passing.
Hey, who knows? It might have been, might have not been. Who knows? But then again, that's what I call it football. I mean,
oh man, that's definitely going on the blooper reel.
Hey, you do that voice, I think of Norbert. Oh my God, we have a dandelion encrusted rib.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What it is. I'm your guy, Mr. Fingaz, coming to you live from Zagniff Central in Oklahoma City. Appreciate y'all joining us today. And that fella right over there, the brother from another, the sexy Mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place, in your face, Collin P. from the DMV. What's going on, baby boy?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. How about you, man? How you been?
I'm doing real good, man. I'm doing real good. I'm very happy to be here. In the words of Akeem Jafar. Huh?
No, I was going to say I heard there was a special day last week.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. Your boy made another trip around the sun on Thursday. Still pushing deeper into his 50s, feeling pretty good. I didn't really do nothing special, The wife got me a book and a shirt, which I didn't wear today because we're actually on right now, but it says, ask me about my podcast. And then she got me a book. I think it's a James Patterson writing a book about how he got started in the business of writing. Yaz got me a pull-up bar. I was like, what you trying to tell your pops? You getting old and out of shape? What's that all about? But it's one of those ones that fits over your door frame, and then you can do sit-ups and crunches and lateral dips and all kinds of. It's like
I've seen some comical videos, and make sure that thing's secure, man. I've laughed several times. People fall it.
Well, you got to make sure it's hooked all the way in the door frame too, though. You can't just put it up there and then go jumping up there. Dude, it's got like 8 different ways. You got your arms out here like this, then you got your regular pull-up, this kind of pull-up, then you got side ends and the ones that are real close. Like it's like 6-7 different ways to do pull-ups on there, pull-ups and chin-ups. And then yesterday makes 13 years since the day I met my wife. Now we didn't start dating that day, but that's the day I met my wife. So it's been a pretty long, eventful. It was a nice little, I won't say long because it was way too short, but it was a nice long Thursday to Sunday little jaunt there. And also happy 25th birthday to my second born. The gentle giant. That's the one I told you about that played ball in college. He's back home working now, doing his thing. So happy birthday to him as well. He was born on my 27th birthday. So we share a birthday. Wow. So best birthday present I ever got. So while we throwing out birthday greetings, another big birthday popped up this week. You know this guy. You might love him, you might hate him, but that's my guy, and we love to talk about him here on the show. It's our boy Uncle Shay. Uncle Shay turned 54 this past week. Bruh, does that look like a 54-year-old man to you?
Yeah, you sent that picture to me on Messengers a minute ago. I was like, damn, man, that's a selfie of you. I mean, you look pretty good.
I
had to take a look at it.
I'm just gonna tell you, even at my most fit, I never, ever, ever, ever looked that good. Ever. You understand what I'm telling you? And I see that y'all can't see the picture I'm showing on the stream there. Maybe you can see it now. Oh, yes, man, what are you doing? Why are you not showing? There it is. All right, there we go. Everybody can see it now. So happy birthday to Uncle Shay. I had to send my boy Fingaz some VIP tickets so he could come to Club Shay Shay, so he could come hang out with us at Club Shay Shay. And we definitely did something for Tuesday. Oh, Collin, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. We had a good time. We was making it happen. So we would like to thank you guys for joining us this week for season 2, episode. God, I forgot what episode this is. It's either 9 or 10. We'll get it right by the time we post it on the YouTube. But thank you for joining us for this week's episode of This Week in SEC Football. Man, you know what? It's only 10 weeks left till the season starts.
I know.
And, bro, I can't wait.
I
cannot wait. I'm stoked for it.
Yep.
As you know, we have been doing a series started last week on teams of the week, and we're going to review one team each week. We're going to give them a look over and see what they got going on and see how we think they're going to fare. And I think we're keeping track of the records that we think they're going to have. Did we say we were doing that or not? No, we're going to do that. We're going to do that a little closer to the beginning of the season once some things start shaking out, see how things are looking. Because we saw the spring games and we saw how everybody looked, but that's the spring game. You got all spring, all summer, and early fall before things really kick off. So we'll wait till we get some more reports. Hopefully nobody gets injured, and we'll see what we're going to do then.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, we want to go ahead and thank our sponsor. I don't have the video together because they're sending me a new one. But our primary sponsor, DJG Enterprises and GreekGans.com, they can make custom sports gear for you. Hit them up at www.greekgans.com. They can make custom-made Afghans. They can make these custom-made cups, laser engraved. They had this one done. This is had this one done for my fraternity, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So hit them up, and they can get that done for you. Custom-made sports gear. Can't do the logos because they're trademarked, but they can get you all squared away. Hit them up today. So this week's team of the week is Ole Miss, the Rebels of Ole Miss. Now, as we know, last year, Lane Kiffin, get your popcorn ready, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ole Miss had a very, very good season. And the reason that Ole Miss had a good season was mostly due in part to their quarterback, Matt Corral, who was drafted in this past NFL draft. They wound up finishing the season, I believe it was 10-2. I'm just double checking that just to make sure they finished 10-3 with a 6-2 record in the conference. So that's for Ole Miss. That's good. That's really good. So Lane Kiffin has already made a difference with the squad. Looking forward to seeing what they're coming up with this season. But this season, I think they're going to take a step back. But I'm gonna ask you first what you think before we get into it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think obviously that would be one of the reasons they would take a step back. I don't know. You never can really tell because of Lane Kiffin. I mean, like he's a polarizing individual. He's seems to always be in the news. Always people are always talking, about him or either the Ole Miss program. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they still had the running back come back. Forgive me. What's their running back? Zach? Was it Zach?
No. Their two main running backs were Jerriona Ely and Snoop Connor, and they lost them both to the draft.
Oh, they lost them both. Okay,
both of them.
Well, no. I mean, hold on. I thought since 2020, it was like Zach Evans averaged 4.8 yards after contact. From what I'm seeing, is Zach Evans almost? I thought he was playing.
He's not on the stat list I'm looking at.
Okay, maybe I'm mistaken, but regardless, I mean, I think I kind of agree with you. I mean, if they get 10, I mean, I'm gonna be shocked if they get to 10 wins. But I'm like you that if it they may come back, they may take a step back, maybe 9, maybe 8. What are your opinion on why they don't take a
Well,
step back?
I think they're definitely. I
Right.
definitely think they're going to take a big step back. And the reason that I say that, number one, offensively, they produced 6,402 yards of offense last year. Okay. Of that 6,402 yards, 3,963 of that was Matt Corral by himself. He threw for 3,300, over 3,300 yards and ran for 614. He was their third leading rusher on the team this past season, behind Snoop and Jerrion Ely. And so now you're talking, I don't have any news of who they have coming in, who they picked up on the transfer portal, as far as
That's where Zach Evans came from. I'm reading right now. TCU Zach Evans is transferred from TCU to Ole Miss.
Okay, he transferred over from TCU. Okay, I didn't see he's not on the. They have not updated the roster just yet on ESPN for who all is on the team. They haven't solidified the depth. Yeah, they haven't solidified the depth chart yet, but he'll definitely make an immediate impact coming from TCU. So here's what I'm looking at right now. They've got they have 33 lettermen that they lost out of 51.
Yeah.
Of those 33 lettermen, they're returning 15 of 23 offensive guys, 7 of 4 on defense, 1 specialist. They lost 14 starters. They've got 11 coming back. That is huge. Man. That is absolutely huge. I mean, just like Georgia, they talk about Georgia lost 15 players. They lost 14. They lost 14 starters. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of players to lose off a roster for a 10-win team, whose three biggest contributors to the team. Matter of fact, when you throw in Jerrion stats, and then you throw in Snoop stats, that's another 1,400 yards. So they accounted for 5,300 of the 6,400 yards that Ole Miss gained last year. Man, so unless next man up is really going to be something big, I don't know. I mean, they had at quarterback, they had 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 5 guys on roster. Tyrell Pigrome from Birmingham was a senior also. We don't know if he's returning or not, if he's going to even get a shot. Hey, Lockhart, what's going on, man? Partner of mine from 24th ID when I was stationed at Fort Stewart. Much love, brother. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's see who else they got here on the depth chart. Alex Grado and Luke Altmaier, who are both freshmen coming in, one from Starkville, Luke from Starkville, and Alex from Los Gatos, California. They had a junior. Oh, the junior from Ventura, California. That's Matt Corral. He's in the league. They've got a sophomore from Yazoo City, Missouri, and that is Kincaid Dent. So, I mean, and of those 5, while I'm waiting on this to pull up,
I was going to say, of those 5, we haven't heard anything from those guys at all.
Nothing major, because Matt Corral was on the field except for when I think Luke Altmaier was the one that went in for. He was the one that went in when Corral got hurt when he twisted his ankle.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he got the second biggest load, and that wasn't that big a share of the load. And I remember watching Luke play. He's a different style of quarterback. So Ole Miss is going to have he went 20 of 37 for 192 yards with a 54.1% completion and one touchdown, 2 interceptions. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. All the other quarterbacks got 6 completions, 6 attempts between the 3 of them. So they have a very inexperienced quarterback core that's coming in. That So I'm expecting them to take a real big step back this year. The depth chart hasn't even really been solidified yet. You got Altmaier and Kincaid Dent coming back, right? Oh, and Jackson Dart is transferred in from USC. So
Right.
Jackson Dart might wind up being the starter. But they lost pretty much all of their rushing attack this year. So I'm going to go with, and if you're an Ole Miss fan and you're watching this right now, this is not me hating on you guys. It's almost like that's become the new thing now, man. Like every time somebody comes out and says, "Hey, your team did great this year, but I see them regressing next year," they go, "Oh, you just hating." I'm not hating. You lost a whole lot of guys, and I'm expecting that you lost a lot of key position players on your offense and a lot of position players on your defense. Like in Georgia's instance, yes, they lost a lot of defensive players, but most of the offense is returning. So the offensive production should still be good. We shall see. I'm looking at probably 8-4, 9-3 at best is what I'm giving Ole Miss. But I mean, like you said, like I said, 14 starters is nothing to sneeze at all. I mean, that's as many guys as we lost.
Yeah, but the difference is that we know the caliber of next man up. We know kind of I guess maybe because we're Georgia fans or what have you. But we know the caliber, and actually we've heard more about people stepping up. Our bench that are replacing these people that we've lost. But I haven't heard anything about Ole Miss, and that's kind of concerning. And but we just never can see. I never can tell because they end up winning they end up winning SEC games that they should have no business winning, and you had to throw that in there too. So it is the SEC, so you never know what's going to happen, who's going to win, regardless of the caliber of team, what have you. But yeah, I mean, I can agree with you. 8-4, 9-3 best.
Yeah, that's about as much. That's about as much as I'm going to give them. And that now, mind you, everyone, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at last year's team. When people make these predictions in the summer, they're looking at what last year's team did, how many people are not coming back, and what contributions those people on the team gave to the team. You lost 3 key offensive players that accounted for almost 100% of your offensive output, almost like 80 some odd percent when you do the numbers together.
Yeah.
Okay. That's absolutely insane. That's completely insane that you would lose that much offensive output. And that's not even talking about wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
That's, they had a wide receiver that went for just under 1,100 yards last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some nut named Collin watching the show. Hey, Collin, thank you for tuning into this week of SEC football.
That's the only way I can see the people comment. That's all.
Yeah. So let's see what we got here. Hang on a second. My throat is all scratchy today. I don't know what's going on. Too much of that dandelion on that rib. It's too much encrusted dandelion.
I was gonna say, just go ahead and just a reminder to bring your French's mustard, because you never know what's going to happen. You want to have something to throw with Lane Kiffin when he does win those games where he has no business winning.
No, that only happens in Tennessee, man. That only happens in Tennessee.
Well, that was directed, toward them.
Yeah. Now on the defensive side of the ball, Ole Miss is bringing back 24 Letterman, and they only going to have just under half 5 starters. So they're going to have to replace Sam Williams on the D line. So Katie Hill, Cedric Johnson, who had 37 tackles and 6 sacks. They're going to have to really depend on those guys. Those are going to have to be the guys to step up and be the key leaders on the team. And then at linebacker, Austin Keys and Ashanti Sistrunk. And then they had a transfer in from Central Michigan in Troy Brown. He was a 3-time All-MAC player at Central Michigan. And he had 66 tackles and a forced fumble in 2021. Hey, Kyle, thank you for joining, man. Appreciate you. Birds, rise up. Dirty birds, rise up. We got 3 dirty birds on the podcast. Me, you, and our guy Kyle Yacy there.
Hey. All right.
So,
But I was gonna mention they got Iowa State transfer from Iowa State. I'm sorry, Ashim Young, and then another transfer from Auburn, Ladarius Tennison. So their cornerback, the cornerbacks they added those on their the defense. So I mean,
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, their leading receiver did not have a bad season at all, 1,028 yards, and that was Dontario Drummond. Kind of hard to not have that kind of season when you got Matt Corral slinging the ball around to you.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it does help you out. You're a good quarterback. I can throw
yeah. Now one of the things that I'm looking at, and when I make my prediction as far as Ole Miss is concerned, is that you had a quarterback that was definitely considered to be a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
He could throw and he could run. Like I said, he threw for 3,300 yards this past season, and he ran for 600. I mean, a few more runs here and there in each game, and he would have easily had 1,000 yards. He would have had a Cam Newton type season, like what Cam had at Auburn. And now you got Luke Altmaier, who, unless Jackson Dart replaces him, if Jackson Dart gets the job, then they'll kind of be in the same boat. But if Luke Altmaier winds up getting the job, you're going to have to deal with a pocket passer, which means your entire offensive scheme has got to change.
Yep.
So, and this is just my prediction is just based off of that Altmaier will get the job. So that's where I'm going with that. So we're definitely saying 8-4, 9-3 for the Ole Miss Rebels. Best of luck to them in the 2022 season. And oh man, I had their schedule pulled up. And you know what? I feel like such a doofus. I had their schedule pulled up, and I closed the window. I closed the window, and now I got to pull it back up so we can look at the 2022 schedule real quick. Go a run through here. So their first game is Troy. Their first two games are Troy on September 3rd. That's a home game. Central Arkansas at home. That's a home game. I'll get to your question in a second, Kyle, just to let you know. Their first four games actually are looking pretty decent. Troy, Central Arkansas, Georgia Tech on the 17th, and Tulsa on the 24th. Okay. So they should be 4-0 after that little stretch. But then October 1st, they got to play the Wildcats of Kentucky. Then I see they pull another win off against Vanderbilt the following week. Then they got to play Auburn. That one's sketchy. They got to play LSU. That one's sketchy because we don't know what LSU's bringing to the table with Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
Texas A&M. Now, Texas A&M, that's going to be a little bit later in the season. Actually, LSU's, I give the edge to Ole Miss there because it'll be later in the season. A&M, that game's October 29th. That one's sketchy. They got Bama the week after that. I'm giving that an L there.
Yeah.
They got Arkansas on the 19th. That might be an L. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my 8-4 right there because I don't think they lose to Mississippi State.
Well, that's always, that's the rival. That's an in-state rival there, so you can, I don't.
It hasn't been much of a rivalry for a few years, though, man. Not since Dak left to go to the league.
That is true. You're right. Yeah.
So we shall see what we shall see. We shall see what we shall see. So that is our wine. That's basically our takeaway for Ole Miss for this coming 2022 season. We're looking at 9-3 at best, with a little luck and some elbow grease, maybe a 10-2, but definitely looking at probably an 8-4, more realistically for Ole Miss. We'll circle back around to this right before the season starts when we make our preseason record predictions and see how everybody does in the conference and all those good things. So we're going to move on to our next segment. And by the way, those of you just joining us, welcome to This Week in SEC Football. I am Mr. Fingaz. That is the brother from another Collin P. We will take a short break for station identification, and we'll be right back.
Radio Network.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty good.
Your new home for podcasts and original music.
The Second of One Radio Network.
There we go. That's awesome. Alrighty then, and we're back. Note to self: put that video over in the other thing where it automatically plays as soon as you hit the button. We're gonna do that for next week. Anyway, so rumor has it that there's this kid, and he's supposedly really good at football, and he's maybe got some famous family members or something like that. And for the last several weeks, all people have talked about is where this kid is going to go. He's not even graduating until 2023. Like, he hasn't played his senior season yet. It's been the most anticipated signing since, dating back to Trevor Lawrence, who's now getting ready to start his sophomore season in the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars this coming fall. Arch Manning. I mean, it doesn't matter where you looked. If you tuned into a sports station somewhere, you saw some news about Arch Manning, and you really just couldn't get away from it. And if you don't know who Arch Manning is, you don't know who his family is, you haven't been following sports at all. I mean, his uncles have been on television commercials left, right, and Sunday. They're on the Thursday night football broadcast now. I don't know if they're going to renew that for next year. I haven't seen them do it yet. I heard it's pretty hilarious. They've been everywhere. The dad was, he's considered a great, an NFL great to the folks of New Orleans because of what he contributed to the Saints. So Arch Manning, week before last, he'd whittled his choices down to University of Georgia, University of Alabama, and the University of Texas. And ladies and gentlemen, the news broke last week on December 23rd, on my birthday, that Arch Manning had chosen the University of Texas. There he is right there, Arch Manning. And you see he put the tweet out that he was committed to Texas, #hook'em. So that's where Arch Manning is going to wind up playing ball. People had 8 million reasons why they thought he was going to go to this school or that school, and that's where he was going to wind up. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this before I even go into it?
Well, I mean, to take Kyle's question into account, I mean, we had touched on this a little bit last week, why you thought specifically, and a lot of other people thought he would go to Texas because that would give him more of an opportunity to come in guns blazing and hit the ground running as far as playing. They had given him the best shot for him to come to Georgia or Alabama. He may not have that luxury per se, but I mean, it's hard to say he won't have an immediate impact for Texas. I mean, I'm interested to see how it actually all works out and how the team actually how they end up. But what surprised me the most is just going to the Georgia side of things. Like, everybody was touting, trying to get him to come to Georgia. People were on this side of the fence, one side on this side, the other side of the fence. But now I'm seeing articles where they're saying, now that Georgia didn't get Arch, what now? Like, it was like a huge thing for him not to pick us. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think we needed him all that bad.
Right. Well, you're right. Now, here's the thing, though. They've already got a 5-star there, Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
Who transferred in, for those of you that catching up on this story through us. Quinn Ewers was a 5-star that was heavily recruited by Ohio State University. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. The Ohio State University. I had to say that. They did. They trademarked the word "the" just for the purposes of marketing and merchandise and things of that nature. So they can now use the word "the Ohio State University" in their merchandise, on their shirts and the posters and signage and everything like that. If you get a chance, you need to go check out our boy Uncle Lou. He went ham on that.
Yes, he did.
He did. He's like, the. I'm just gonna say it. What are you gonna do? Sue me, Ohio State? I dare you. By the way, go check out our good friend Uncle Lou, Lou Tube on YouTube. His page is called Uncle Lou. That's exactly what it's called. He's a huge college football fan. Just happens to he describes himself as a man who is a college football fan whose favorite team happens to be the Georgia Bulldogs, and he gives joy. He lights Georgia up too. So he's not a homer. I can definitely tell you, he's definitely not a homer. He praises where praise is due, and gives us the business where the businesses do as well. So, it's like this. He's got to compete against Quinn Ewers. Now, Quinn, this is basically his year to shine, because after this, this is his second year. Next year will be his third year. So he's got to blow it out of the water at Texas this year to maintain that starting job, because you got Arch Manning coming in behind you. You know what I mean? Otherwise we might see him transfer again. I mean, he just couldn't beat out CJ Stroud for the job. I mean, kid wound up coming in second place in the Heisman Trophy voting. CJ Stroud did. Now he's going to come back and he's going to light it up in the Big Ten again this season, I think. So he's got to compete against Quinn Ewers, and that's it. At Alabama had already picked up a 4-star commit that'll be coming in this year. So not only would he have to sit this year he definitely would have to sit behind Bryce, and he might have to sit next year behind the kid that got signed in the transfer portal at Alabama. So the thing about NCAA football is these kids want to play because they want to get in the league. They want to play because they want to get in the league. If they don't get seen, the scouts, if nobody sees them play, they don't get picked up, or they wind up falling in the, Well, hell, you could be a superstar and still fall in the draft. Nakobe, I hope you give him hell when you get on the field, man. Shout out to our boy Nakobe Dean. But yeah, so Texas definitely provided him with the best opportunity to start. At the very least, he'd have to sit for a year. This other kid that came in is a freshman, which means that he's got 2 more years of eligibility. So if he goes to Bama, he might have to sit for 2 years. If he comes to Georgia, we won't even talk about Georgia. We got Stetson using his last year of eligibility. We got Brock. We got Carson back, and we got Gunnar Stockton coming in. So he feasibly, if all of them turn out to be really good, let's say Gunnar comes in, knocks it out of the park. That means that Gunnar would be the starter for the next 2 to 3 years, and Arch wouldn't get to play until maybe his senior year with any luck. So I think he made the decision that was best for him in terms of getting to have the playing time. That kind of thing. The Texas program itself, well, we hope they made some adjustments. And they're going to make adjustments now that they know he's coming. So they're definitely going to go wide receiver heavy. They're going to go wide receiver heavy for commits and transfer portal kids coming in. So I just think he made the best choice for himself.
Yeah,
honestly. I mean, what else can you say that hasn't already been said? There's a whole lot that's been said about Arch Manning. But that scenario is dead on. There's nothing else that you can do about that.
Well, I mean, at some point, you talk about all these kids jockeying for where the school they need to go to kind of highlight their attributes or talents. I mean, that's the transfer portal is great for that. But I mean, again, we talk about the amount of times there's got to be a limit you can transfer here, transfer schools. But I get it. I mean, look at Burton. I mean, Burton, that was one of the main reasons he transferred from Georgia to Alabama, because Alabama throws the ball more than we do. We're more of a running team than a passing team. We do have Stetson that can throw the long ball when he needs to and does it 1 or 2 times, 3 times maybe a game. But essentially we're running back, real run first team. So I mean that didn't give him the exposure needed. So I mean I definitely understand that. But at one point, I mean, the onus is on the player at that point, right? I mean, you got to make your own plays and make yourself, stand out, in my opinion,
Absolutely. Well said, sir. Well said. So there's not a whole heck of a lot more I can say that either one of us can really say about Arch Manning. We knew this was going to come. We knew it was going to be a circus. I mean, every game he went to, they put the camera on him about 18 times a game. Like every time there was a big play, every time there was a bad play. Like I remember him sitting in the stands at Sanford Stadium. Every time there was a big play, every time there was a boneheaded play, the camera would flash over to him like the catcher's reaction, like he was a scout, like he was a pro scout or something.
Exactly.
You know?
That was Danny, or there was Big Arch sitting right beside him.
Right.
Every time.
So Arch Manning makes his way to University of Texas next year. Okay. But here's just a rundown of his stats. If anybody's wondering, not just outside of him being a Manning, why they're looking at him. He has thrown for more than 6,000 passing yards and 81 touchdowns to 18 receptions in 3 seasons. 6,000 in high school, 6,000 yards and 81 touchdowns. That is absolutely insane. Now, let's be real. The league that he plays in is a private school league, and just from experience, I know the kids that play at the private school level might not necessarily be at the same echelon, but I mean, he's still Manning. He's got his uncles there to coach. 2 uncles and a granddad who played at the ultimate level. At the ultimate level of football. Hey, Andrew, thank you for watching, man. Mr. Andrew Faubert in the building, one of the hosts of North Sports Dynasty, and occasional guest on some other shows. Let's Talk Football family of shows. Appreciate you joining us, sir. Those of you that are joining us, welcome to This Week in SEC Football. I am Mr. Fingaz from Zagna Central. That is my man, Collin P., the brother from another. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We just wrapping up on Arch Manning.
Well, one thing I want to interject there is like, as far as like, what do you think? Like, what caliber does it affect? I mean, a player playing at the private level as opposed to somebody that's playing in public school. Like, your opinion. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really followed too many players in the private school sector, but I mean, just you think the caliber of player like is better or worse, you think? Or doesn't
live up to I won't say it's better or worse. I just remember like when I was coming up, there weren't like you didn't have the football factories like the IMG Academy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like DeMatha. You didn't have the high school football factories. So the private schools were basically you either had just the general private schools, and then you had like the Catholic schools. Like I went to a Catholic school, and the Catholic school league, the private school league was Blessed Sacrament, Sacred Heart, St. James, Savannah Country Day, Savannah Christian, and a couple other schools. Pinewood Academy. So Pinewood, we played. Huh?
I remember Pinewood. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we played against those teams, and well, actually, I didn't play for Blessed Sacrament. I played for the YMCA Falcons, but we played against Blessed Sacrament, St. James. We played against those teams because the little league. There was so many little leagues. We played against the kids that were in our district or neck of the woods.
Right. Yeah. And the main thing I remember about private school is like they're the ones that play soccer. Like if you want to play soccer, you go to a private school. That's when
soccer, lacrosse.
You didn't have soccer in public school.
Right.
Public school system down there at that time. So you had soccer. If you don't play soccer, all private school play soccer.
Right.
That's what
I will tell you this: when we played against the private school leagues, 95% of the time we beat them pretty handily. But when we played those teams from in town, like the South Side Raiders and the West Side Whippers and the East Side Patriots, we got curb stomped. They were it just hit different when we played those teams. So that's just from my experience. Now you're talking 40 plus years ago to today.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But now these private schools are actively recruiting kids to come and play for their athletic program. So it might be a whole different ball game now versus then. So I can't really speak to it. But
I haven't really dug into it. That was one of the questions that was in my mind because I mean I don't know, and I need to do my research on it, but I don't know how many quarterbacks have come from private schools that came to a different came to different schools and whatever and made a name for themselves. I haven't really done that kind of legwork yet, but I was just kind of curious.
Yeah. Well, here's my question for you, and then we'll wrap this up and we'll move on to our next segment. What do you think? How do you think he fares? Like, how do you think he does?
What, overall?
Yeah, at Texas. How do you think he does? You think he'll fit in the system well? You think he'll show up and show out? Do you think he'll maybe be kind of mad because it's an adjustment period? What are you thinking?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. But I mean, I'd be dumb to say there won't be kind of some sort of an adjustment period. That he would maybe 1 or 2 games, or maybe once you get in there and gets kind of acclimated to the system, and who knows? Maybe the coaches do like they normally do and kind of build a system, or they may end up building the system around him, depending on his strengths and weaknesses and what have you. But I don't know. I think he fares well. I mean, I don't know now as far as the win-loss. I don't know, but I think he's going to get his touchdown and yards. I mean, he's going to get his. But, I mean, I don't know about him. I don't know if Texas as a whole winning the he'll definitely be a factor in them winning ball games. But, I mean, I don't think he's going to lose any games for him. But, I mean, I think he's going to do all right.
Yeah, well, I'm not necessarily looking for a win-loss prediction because we're talking about we're talking about 2020 fall of 2023, and then that's assuming he gets the starting job. I'm just talking about his overall performance when he gets on the field. Now, we know that being in the spotlight is not going to be a problem for him. The minute he decided he wanted to pick up a football and play football, everybody went, "Oh, he's holding the football." So
you can already tell he's got that swagger. He's got that Manning swagger already. So the videos and pictures I've seen of him, he doesn't really bother him like you said. But I mean, it still doesn't take away the pressure to live up to the hype. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I mean, he's got a lot of people. I mean, a lot of hype surrounding him. So I mean, if he don't, I mean, he's going to be a bust. And if it turns, I'm not saying he is. I'm saying, but there's the pressure of him being, not being what everybody has made him out to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got, like I said, he's got, 3. He's got his dad, between his dad, his uncles, and his grandfather. That's 4 guys that have played football at least college, at least the college level.
Yeah, so, I'm not saying he's going to flop it by no means. That's not my opinion. No, I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah,
I think he's going to fit in well. He's going to show his behind. My opinion.
Yeah. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up that segment. We're going to move on to our next segment, but before we do, we want to thank a couple of our sponsors that we have not mentioned yet. That is our good friends at 1906 Tees. They also make custom gear. They can make you custom sports gear. That is squareup.com/1906 Tees. And then Envision Social Media. If you are having issues getting your social media to pop, Envision Social Media is the place you need to be. They can help you empower and motivate and become motivated to grow your social media platform. So visit the good folks at envisionsocialmedia.com today. Thank 1906 Tees, and also thank you to DJG Enterprises and GreekGans.com for being sponsors of This Week in SEC Football. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you the clip, man. There's this clip when they asked they asked a couple of Texas fans what they thought about getting Arch Manning, and this is what they had to say.
We're back.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But we want to throw this out here real quick before we jump into our next segment. Another pause for station identification, and we will be right back.
Zagnif Productions,
In association with Zagnif Apparel.
gives you the opportunity to win free athletic gear. And here's how you do it. Visit the Zagnif Apparel Design Shop at Etsy.com. Purchase any piece of apparel that will automatically qualify you for the August 7th drawing for free apparel. Each purchase counts as one entry. No limit on the number of entries allowed. At least one lucky winner will win one free outfit. That's right, one free top, one free bottom. Note, the embroidered bomber jackets will not be regarded as prizes for this sweepstakes. July 30th is the last day to enter, so get to the Zagnif Apparel Design Shop at Etsy.com today for your chance to win free athletic gear, courtesy of Zagnif Apparel.
In conjunction with Zagnif Productions, LLC.
That's very nice. Very nice.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Our parent company, Zagnif Productions, along with our sister company, Zagnif Apparel, is sponsoring the sweepstakes. You can win, just like the guy said, you can win free gear. One purchase gets you an entry. Two purchases get you two entries. That doesn't mean buying two pieces in one purchase. But every purchase that you make between now and July 31st, you'll get an entry. August 7th, we take a name out of the drawing, and that winner will get a free top and a free bottom courtesy of our sister company, Zagnif Apparel. So hop on over to, oh, by the way, that's right there on the screen in the bottom corner underneath Collin there is the website that you need to visit. And there's also the QR code if you want to hit that. You just click, and it'll take you right to it. And the shop is active. We got a whole bunch of hot stuff in there right now. The ladies are definitely killing the guys. There's more stuff for the ladies because ladies just buy more stuff. But fellas, we got some stuff for you too if you want some stuff. So go on over there and check them out today. So, you know, it's been 5 months now, and it still hasn't gotten old yet that we are currently the national champions.
Yeah, I was gonna say that if you see my eyes kind of looking up, I told you before on the SEC Network, I got the game playing behind my screen here, so my apologies, but it still gives me kind of pumped when I see Stetson running around the field.
Well, I'll try and get this all wrapped up before we get to third and Ringo, because I had a feeling you're still gonna jump out of the chair like it's the first time you've seen it.
It's only third quarter, man. It's all good.
Look, jump up like Kirby Smart on the sidelines.
Oh yeah.
So Kirby's got hops, man. Kirby could probably have a career in the NBA. Could have had a career in the NBA with those hops.
No kidding.
We know now, or we found out not too long after, that Stetson Bennett is making a comeback this season as a quarterback. So basically, all of the people are like, "Oh, we want to see some other people play," et cetera, Georgia fans, not all Georgia fans, just the ones that are like, oh, we want him to go somewhere. We want to see somebody else play. Yeah. He's coming back this year, and a lot of people have given him the blues about his playing ability, and we won, and we didn't win because of, we won in spite of. So, 9, 10, 11, 12 complaints about Stetson Bennett, a lot of time from the same people. Did run across an interesting article in GeorgiaDogsFootball.com titled "Georgia Bulldogs Quarterback Stetson Bennett Living in Reality About the Mailman."
Yep.
So there was some things that were talked about with regard to this article, and I wanted to talk about this last week, but we didn't. We kind of ran out of time. I'm keeping my eye on the clock now, and we do promise you, ladies and gentlemen, unless we get a good roll going, we're going to try and keep our shows to an hour, so we don't bore you to death. And we don't have a boring show. It's just we can get a roll going. And then number two, it makes it easier for your boy to do post show editing and cut up those clips. But the reality of the situation is this: the Dogs, led by Stetson Bennett under center, beat the juggernaut Alabama Crimson Tide, led by the young man who won the Heisman Trophy.
He won the Heisman, yeah.
There's a couple of other stats that were interesting to see here. Is that he only threw for what was it? How many yards was it? I got it right here.
That was 4,000.
Yeah, he only started 12 games last year.
Right. That's what surprised me. The sample size is not. I mean, and Bryce started 16. So I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So he only started 12 games. And you think about the fact that Georgia played in the conference championship, the conference championship, the CFP, and the national title game. They played a total of 15 games. Well, that means Stetson didn't start until week 4. Um, and then you consider this. Every game they played this year, the defense basically did their job and shut the opposing team out, which made it very easy for us to score. And then in the fourth quarter, what did Coach Smart do? He let up off the gas and he just started doing that grinded out running offense.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking aside from the national championship and the conference playoff game. So that he started 12 games. So that's 10 games this season where Stetson Bennett could easily have thrown for at least another 50 or 60 yards per, which would have amounted to another 600 or 700 yards to add to his total. So people say his stats aren't gaudy. You don't consider stuff like that. And this is where I back off and let you jump in and give your thoughts on this.
Well, no, I agree, and then that's the thing. People don't look at that kind of stuff. And they actually surprised me because that's why. I mean, I think did not send that article to you, but I saw it and then I posted it to I think it was the Georgia Bulldog fan Facebook page, and then the majority. I mean, I got probably I don't know, like maybe 100, 150 likes on it, and a lot of people were saying great article because it did. That article put everything in perspective, and it was just facts. I mean, it was just the fact of the matter. The kid had good stats. You know, I mean, granted he had some mistakes, but I mean, overall, his sample size compared to Bryce's sample size, he should have had less, less viable stats, or not viable, but better stats than Bryce. But I mean, it just people just glaze by that. They tend to focus on his everything he does wrong. I mean, he's under a microscope constantly, and they nitpick here, nitpick there. Even a good play, they won't give the boys props. But anyway, I thought this article actually gave a very, 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 very good perspective on him as quarterback at Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, and you nailed it right on the head. Everybody wanted to see somebody else play, either Carson or Brock, or actually they wanted to see JT because everybody kept saying JT was undefeated as a starter, and he was.
Yeah.
So we wanted to see what he could do. Now, if he could have stayed upright, he definitely would have been undefeated as a starter. And
exactly. I have no problem with that.
And he would have slung the ball around. He probably would have had easily 4,000 or 5,000 yards passing this season, but 4,000 or 5,000 yards passing this season. About 4,000, I'd say, passing this past season. But that's what the fans want. They want the quarterback with the arm. They want to see the NFL where guys like Patrick Mahomes are throwing it 35, 40 times a game, and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. But the thing that they don't understand is the formula that we have worked. Yeah. Now, Bryce Young, as a matter of fact, this article says Bryce Young in the national championship game threw the ball way more during the fourth quarter garbage time this season.
That was a good point he made, too, on that article. It was garbage time. A lot of that stuff was garbage time yards. And that's why the stats look so good.
Yeah, I mean, that's not taking anything away from him. It's just that's what those fans. I don't mean to not call them fans because they love the team too, but that's what that particular group of fans. That I have to phrase that a little better. That particular group of fans wants to see. We got something coming at us in the chat here that I missed.
Well, yeah, and another thing, Fingaz, is that I'm not gonna deny it. Watching a run and shoot ball game, hey, airmail and everything, and that's fun to watch. But I mean, it's not if it doesn't win you football games. Then what's the point? I mean, it's great to watch. I mean, slinging. I mean, look at old ball coach. I mean, like look at Florida. Look at. I mean, it was just always a shootout, like 40 yard, 50 yard passes, looking for a home run. Virtually every play, you're looking for a home run. But I mean, that's not our game plan. Our game plan is knocking off 4 or 5 yards if possible. Just getting chunks of yards here and there. And then open it when things open up. Then we look for that home run ball. But I mean, that's not our scheme. Man. That's not our game plan. So, I mean,
go ahead. No, what I was going to say is I think that's the biggest thing is that the Georgia fans, that's what they're looking for. And let's look at some of the past quarterbacks. Like, okay, from Stafford to now, it's pretty safe to say that Aaron Murray was probably the best quarterback Georgia had from Stafford to this point, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he really didn't get a chance. I mean, he slung the ball around a ton, but guess what happened? He wound up not really making it in the league. I don't even think he made it to the league. You see what I'm saying?
No. Yeah, you're right.
So it's not to say that he didn't win games because he wasn't a good quarterback. He was an awesome quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that that's just Georgia's style of play. And Aaron Murray played under Mark Richt.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to our guy Sean Spencer, one half of the duo that founded the whole Let's Talk Football family. Yes, shout out Point King. Yeah, buddy. The Let's Talk Football family of podcasts, they're all over the place. I mean, they got a women's show, they got a Sunday show, they got a commander show, they got they do draft shows, they have special guests come on all the time. And then, you know, there's this show which we're a branch off of. We're a branch off the family, and then there's our guy Foobs with North Sports Dynasty, which is kind of another branch off of Let's Talk Family. So we appreciate you, Sean. Matter of fact, Sean, you know, we kind of owe you a debt of gratitude because we probably wouldn't have gotten this started without your suggestion. So we appreciate you.
Very true.
But yeah, that's where we are, man, with Stetson, and it's good. It's going to be more of the same this season. I mean, you got Gunnar Stockton coming in this year, and if Gunner's not playing but seriously, because he's not the guy they want, they pick on him for everything.
No, they do. Like I said, he's on the microscope. Oh man, he's got an armband. He's got an armband on the wrong arm. I mean, like it's stupid stuff like that. I mean, it's like, you know, it's just he didn't throw it that far. He'll sling what all the receiver had to recover. The receiver had to, you know, it was underthrown. The receiver had to, you know, adjust. Okay, that's what the receivers do. I mean, like they can't all be.
Yeah, and Pickens was a master at that. I just hate he got hurt and had to sit out for most of the season. But yeah, it's just like I said, he could come out in the first game against Samford and throw for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns and have one snap in the second quarter where he kind of fumbles a snap, and that's all everybody will talk about.
So I got a question. Go ahead. Real quick. So if we do say like this past year, you know, we pretty much games were pretty much wrapped up before the clock hit 0, right? So some of our games, would you want to pull Stetson? Like, depending on how far we're ahead, would you want to pull Stetson and give these guys some quote unquote garbage time? Like, I mean, would that be a feasible option to you, or do you want to?
A lot of well, you know what, that used to kind of be the status quo, but what I'm noticing now is in this media heavy, I gotta see as much game film on you as possible to consider you for the Heisman kind of atmosphere that we have now in college ball.
Right. Yeah.
That's why you're seeing a lot of these guys playing 4 full quarters. Because, you know, let's be real, especially on a team like Georgia this past season, and Alabama this past season, and Ohio State this past season, just because, as you can see, you get to a conference championship game, it's not going to be an easy put away. You get to the college football championship, it's not necessarily going to be the easy put away. You know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why I think you don't see as much of that. I mean, we're just literally talking the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Like remember when Jake Fromm hasn't been in the league but what, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
I think this will be his 3rd season. And when Jake Fromm was still a quarterback, if they had a big lead, come sit down, let Carson get some reps. Come sit down, let JT get some reps. And that's how that worked out.
Well, I mean, that would alleviate everybody barking about wanting to see, you know, this, that, and the other, this guy here, this, that, and the other. Maybe. I mean, I don't think it'll stop the barking completely, but I mean, you know, give the fans what they wanted to get. Hey, I want to see this guy.
To be honest, I don't think it hurts. To be real, I don't think it hurts because these guys get some even if it's garbage time, they get legitimate playing time, and you keep your starters from getting injured.
But is that adversely? I can't even talk. Adversely affect, you know, Stetson for pulling him, like when he. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of I don't think that's a bad thing to give him rest like that and put these other guys in, but that takes away from him. I don't know. I'm kind of like, you know, on both sides.
I don't know. I mean, to be completely honest, if you got a 4 touchdown lead, with 3 minutes left to go in the game,
I mean, he's going to be running the ball off anyway.
Pull your starters pull your starters and start your run game. Let your backup quarterback toss the ball around a little bit, grind the clock out, and then pull your running backs, and then call it a day. If you got the ball at the end of the game, go with the kneel down.
Yeah, because
That's
you and
just
I
me.
both know those times. You and I both know those are the times when you tweak an elbow, tweak a leg, tweak an
Right.
ACL, and those are the times when all that stuff
Right.
happens. So I mean,
You are 100% correct, sir. Oh man. So we'd go ahead and put that to bed too. Stetson, best of luck to you this season, man. We from two fans right here, we got your back. We appreciate you.
oh yeah,
Don't let the naysayers, bleh, like he's gonna see this.
provided he doesn't get hurt, I'm looking for a breakout season for him this year. I mean, not a breakout season.
Yeah, I think he's gonna come back
I'm
with
looking
a little bit.
he's gonna progress. Like he's progressed.
I think he's gonna come back with a little vinegar in his veins. I don't really see. I mean, I probably see him going maybe third round as a quarterback if he declares for the draft. I don't see him being a first round, second round pick. But I see, anyway.
I don't know if he has aspirations to even go. I mean, like if he does,
he might not.
He
might not.
He's had a hell of a college career. I know that.
So. Yeah. Well, we've gone through all our topics and we're doggone near right on time. We're only a minute over, ladies and gentlemen. We are. The 2-minute warning. The 2-minute warning is a segment of our show where we share a little something with our viewers across the globe or, scattered out wherever they may be, just to share a little nugget with you to close our show out. And I gotta be completely honest. I really didn't plan for a 2-minute warning this week. So I'm just gonna go with the birthday thing. We mentioned earlier, it was my birthday earlier this week on Thursday or last week on Thursday. Blessed to see 52 years, and I talked with my daughter, and I said, "Don't worry about getting me a birthday gift this year," and and she kind of cocked her head to the side, because I think she'd already gotten me something, which probably wound up being my Father's Day gift, but and then my wife talked to me about it. She said, well, we talk about all the time how there's no guarantees in life. And one of the things that we need to do is people should be celebrated. People should be, life does come and go pretty quickly and people should be celebrated. So, and I was like, yeah. So if you listen, you don't have to be a go out and, oh my God, I'm going to tear the city down and we're going to turn up. It doesn't have to be like that. But if you're blessed enough, look around you right now. In the last 2 or 3 years, we've lost a lot of, not necessarily Collin and I ourselves, but as a whole, humankind. There's just people left, right, and Sunday with COVID and things going on in different parts of the world. And there's still war all over the globe. If you're blessed enough that 365 or 366 days roll through and you're still here, don't be ashamed to take a couple minutes to celebrate that, because not everybody gets that. I'm not saying you got to go out and throw in Cool in the Gang and celebrate good times and all that and go show it. It's your birthday. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to have the cake and the presents. And dude, I didn't even have a cake this year, and I was perfectly fine with that. Now that might have something to do with my stomach can't handle half the stuff I used to eat cake-wise. Man, I love me some red velvet cake with some buttercream icing on it, especially some cream cheese. Woo, I eat the whole thing. But just take the time to appreciate the fact that you got another one, because there's somebody right now that started in January with us, and we're in June moving into July, and they're not going to make it to December. Sad, but true. Not to bring you down, not to be a Debbie Downer. But there's somebody that started in January with us that's not going to make it to December. I old college classmate of mine I'd known for 30 years. Last year went to the Dominican Republic to celebrate her 50th. Dropped dead in the Dominican Republic before she came home. So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring the mood down, but there's a reason I'm telling you this. Just take the time. If you get another year, just make sure if somebody wants to celebrate it for you, to celebrate with you, that's okay. Don't. Yeah. That's all I got.
No, I got you. Yeah, and I can definitely agree. I mean, getting older, you tend to celebrate your birthdays a little bit differently as you get older because
Who are you telling? Who are you
them hangovers don't last no. I mean, I used to when I was 21, 22, I would go out and put one on, get up and go to work. No problem. I do it 7 days through Sunday, and then now, man, I got 2 days of hangovers if I go out and turn it up real good. Now I don't do that very often, but when I do, oh my goodness, my head. But it takes like
Bruh,
2 days and I feel better. I feel
you ain't
normal.
said you ain't said nothing but a word. Because remember when you and I met, I was turning up 7 nights a week because I was working 7 shows. I was
It's
working
easy
7
when you're
shows.
younger, man. It's easy when you're young boy,
Yeah.
man. Once you get older. But anyway, yeah. What I want to say is happy birthday to you. It's been a pleasure, sir, knowing you as well as Mama, and happy anniversary as well. And to your big boy, happy birthday as well to him. But yeah, just to piggyback off what you said is that we are not promised tomorrow. I mean, like live your best life as well as you can. I'm not saying like you said, don't go out and turn up and drink yourself into a stupor or what have you. I mean, just be sounds cliche, but be responsible. You know what I mean? Like although you're not.
Look, we are definitely sounding.
Tomorrow, give yourself the best option to wake up the next day. You know what I'm saying? But
we are definitely sounding like a couple of guys in middle age because you know when me and you met, because I met you not too long after or before. I think I met you right before I met the missus.
Yeah.
And yeah, we was like devil may care. Like, how many of you had to drink tonight? You good to make it home? Man, I'm good. Wait. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Looking like the finish him sequence from Mortal Kombat.
Finish him. But yeah, I mean that's basically it. I mean, like I take it back on your birthdays. Like I said, we're not promised tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, it's more or less like tell everybody that you love them because you're not promised. And if somebody like you said wants to wish you a happy birthday, don't give them a snub, and because you're turning, you're getting older. I mean, you appreciate what they even thought of you at this point. I mean,
yes, sir.
You're just
folk don't owe you.
That people think about you.
Folk don't owe you nothing, so let them do what they're gonna do.
Yeah, but yeah, that's about it for me. But
yes, sir.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, my brother. So, by the way, for those of you in the Northern Virginia viewing public, yours truly will be in the area August 18th through the 20th, because on the 19th of August, I'm going to be in Tice's Corner hosting the Celebrate Fairfax Karaoke Championships 2022. So, yeah, make sure you swing by and see me. I'll be out there. It's at the Park at Tyson's, 8508 Leesburg Pike. In Tyson's Corner. I believe it is right next to that McDonald's is the area where everything is going to be going down. I will be there from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and holler at your boy. That's on a Friday. And I know it's kind of hard for some of y'all. I know rush hour in Northern Virginia, blah, blah, blah. Come see me if you get a chance. And I'll let y'all know where I'm going to be after that. That's all I got. Collin, you got anything else for the good of the crowd before we get out of here, man?
I'm gravy, my brother. I'm good to go.
All right, brother. Well, listen, we want to thank you guys for watching this week's episode of This Week in SEC Football. We will be back next week. Next week's team of the week will be the Kentucky Wildcats. We're bouncing between the East and the West. Yes, we're going to talk about the second sport that is now popular at the University of Kentucky. Right? Like literally up until 2 years ago, they were just strictly a basketball school. So.
Wait, they've been knocking on the door, man, for years. I mean, they've been right there. They've been right there.
Yeah. We're not gonna get started on that because we'll talk about that for another 10 minutes. We'll be talking about Kentucky Wildcats next week. We also going to share a little story about when a former 4-star and a current college quarterback and a rising into college 4-star had an opportunity to square off against each other. We're talking about Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandergriffen. They played against each other in high school. That's also going to be part of next week's show. So on behalf of myself and the brother from another, the sexy Mother Hubbard, the ace of base, in the place, in your face, Collin P from the DMV, we are getting out of here. We will see y'all next week. Y'all be good to yourselves and to each other. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.